Hey, 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 this is your recap Aunty. This is Shar. Hey, we are here to talk about episode number 61 with Beyond the Gates. And thank you to all my new subscribers who come by. Yeah, I put a little flair and a little spice and sugar and everything nice on my video, my recap, because I'm an actress, y'all. I do theater. So I'm used to changing my voice and making me sound like something else a little different. But I do that because I like to have fun, and everybody's different on this show. That's why they cast for their role. So you know that Haley says, "Well, Bill," and Bill is like, "Yeah, baby," and Chelsea, "Hey," and the grind, Anita, and poor Leslie. You know, I got to listen to her. But you get it, y'all. We're here to have some fun, and we are here to talk about episode number 61. Well, we open up at the country club where we have Haley, Bill, and Chelsea. And you know, Chelsea just found out that her pappy gonna be a pappy again. So here Haley with her smart ass talking about it's normal for a child to want to reconcile her parents, Bill. It's okay. And Chelsea's like, well, how the hell would you know? How would you know since you were an orphan? Bill was like, wait a minute now, Chelsea. That's unnecessary. You know she telling the truth, Bill. Stop it. Then Haley is like, looks at Bill. Bill, see, this is where you need to tell your daughter where she's going to need to be standing. Now, since there's going to be a new little Hamilton around to spoil, there's no chance in hell that Bill is going to ever go back to Danny. Tell her, Bill. His dumb ass tomorrow. Haley's right. I'm sorry you're upset, she tells Haley. But the sooner that you accept this, the sooner that you'll be able to just embrace all of us, you know, the baby, me, Bill, everyone. Chelsea was like, bitch, newsflash, Haley. I'm not about to make things easier for either of you. That, you know, it means that, girl, I'm going to make it hard as hell for the both of y'all. So get used to it, bitch. Haley talking about, sorry if I was really awful right now. Chalk it up to the hormones. Girl, that don't give you a right to be mean. You might be 5 minutes pregnant. Now all of a sudden you want to be mean? And Bill is like, you have the best reason in the world to do that, baby. Girl, please. We're starting our family now. And so she's like, well, you know, it's a really good thing that we didn't cancel that college fund, babe. Especially when you thought I was expecting and having a bambino the last time. He was like, well, yeah, look at us, baby. All right, doing right by this baby. We're going to do it right, ain't we, baby? You know what? I'm going to call my accountant and make sure I set up some wire transfers, you know, right away, because we're going to do right by this baby. And she says, well, I don't want to talk about money, okay? Yeah, right. Piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, girl. By this time, y'all, after Chelsea had told them that she's going to make it hell for all of them, she had already walked away. So they're having a little side conversation. So she's in her head, you know, we don't want to talk about money, baby. We want to talk about our dreams and schools and names for the baby. Oh, my God. So we hear a voice says, sorry to interrupt, Haley, bitch. It's Martin. And we all know what he's there to do. But your hubby and I got some catching up to do. That's what he tells her. Bill tells him all this time in Congress, boy, and you still haven't learned how to read a room. Don't you see we're in the middle of certain Martin? Don't you see that? Martin, you know Martin don't give a fuck. He was like, I'm sure it can wait. Because what I'm here for, it can't wait. And so Haley was like, oh, it's okay, baby. There's voicemails that I have to listen to anyway. Girl, what type of work are you doing? You ain't got no voicemails to listen to. So Bill was like, no, baby, no. You stay your little ass right there where you belong. Congressman seems to have forgotten who the hell he's talking to. Anything you need to say to me, you can say it in front of my wife. And without blinking, Martin would say, no, Bill, not this shit. Well, he didn't say shit, but you already know. Well, we're back and we see Ty and Jessica. I was calling that baby Vanessa. But Jessica, I guess they kiss and they just touching lips, honey. And he pulled her back away from her. She was like, what's going on? What's wrong? He's like, girl, I'm sorry. He gets up and runs. Ty. And now we're at Orphe Jeans with Derek and Ashley. Ashley look cute today. Her T-tops is out and everything. And he was like, look now, you know, what I was expecting when I said I wanted to take you out on a date was someplace a little bit more, she was like, expensive. And he was like, well, yeah, low lights and some live jazz. Yeah. He was like, you know, someplace where you can be reminded of why you fell in love with me in the first place, baby. She was like, trust me, I don't need a reminder, babe. She's like, here at Orphe Jeans, honey, this was where we both, decided, or where we actually fucked things up. So, and this is also the place where we decided that we wanted to reset and fix everything. So that's why I chose for us to have our date here. She's like, us going into an expensive restaurant, spending all that money would not mean as much to me as being here at a place that actually means something. And this place means something. And she loved it. Her and Derek always hunching. And she's like, and besides, who says that dinner has to be our last stop, baby? Because we got to work on some dessert. So they playing against each other. He was like, well, I ain't never turned down no spending the night, no, bedtime sleepover. He was like, as long as I'm out of there before daybreak. She was like, oh yeah. He said, yeah, because I know how you want to tidy up your space. She was like, yes, of course, before I go to work. And he's like, yeah, neat and tidy, just the way you like it. So they trying to play off the fact that she likes her place so nice and neat and spotless and clean. She's ACDC. I know what that means, ADD girl. I know. So they're talking, and he's like, oh, speaking of which, he reaches in his pocket, baby, takes the key that she had given him to her place and slid that shit across the table. She looking at him like, what the fuck? That sound that key across that table make my teeth itch. That's like somebody scratching their nails on a damn chalkboard. And we see wonderful Danny. We haven't seen her in a few days. We see her at her gaudy but fancy house. And so she's coming there and said, Chelsea, darling, your timing could not have been better. So her and Chelsea was coming in together. She was like, girl, I had my phone in my hand and I was just about to call you. So Chelsea's like, mama, I need to tell you. So she cuts her off, and Danny was like, girl, you remember that influencer that you know about who does all the stunt doubles with the celebrities in those videos? He got millions of followers, brand deals, everything he damn touches turns to social media gold. What's his name? She's like, girl, guess what? He wants to work with me, honey. He wants to work with me. And guess why? So, Chelsea's like, because you're amazing. You're wonderful. And so Danny is like, it's nice to get a little reinforcement. So she says, Pammy told her that he saw, the little incident at Bill's wedding. Anyway, he wants to like reenact that or do something with it with the whole hashtag shotgun wedding momentum. You know what I'm saying? She looks so excited. She's like, can you believe that's still a thing? And Chelsea's like, okay, mom, yeah, that's really nice. But mom, I really have to. Danny was like, girl, first I said, absolutely not. Danny Dupree is classy, honey, not clickbait. Then I realized, why not profit from your father's humiliation? Turn lemon into limoncello, as I always say. And what better way to navigate all of that than with my brilliant social media influencer daughter? So Chelsea is like, Mom, please. Danny was like, girl, what is it? Oh, now you don't want to work with me? Am I really that impossible, girl? Chelsea, that is the furthest thing from my mind right now. Mama, I'm trying to tell you something. Danny is like, well, what is it, girl? What is it, child? Chelsea, well, first you might want to sit down. We're back with a quick little scene between Tyrell and Jessica. He's like, girls like you are really never interested in dudes like me. He was trying to apologize to her, tell her that he's sorry about that, and he didn't want her to feel like she was taking advantage of him. No, he was taking advantage of her. She was like, wait a minute, I leaned in and kissed you. So he just thinks that she's there due to pity because he was teased about his, checker draws, and so she feels sorry for him. And so she's looking like, no. So anyway, the next scene, we get back to Danny and Chelsea. So Danny was like, honey, you want me to sit down? I mean, people only say this when they are in the movies. You got me a little concerned. Chelsea, why do you have to be always so extra? So Danny was like, okay, well, what kind of chair should I be looking for, girl? I mean, should I be looking for support or comfort? And don't you dare even tell me to faint on this couch, because I'm not. Mom, this is not a joke. And then Danny was like, well, honey, lead with something more or less than a cliche, okay? Because I just don't understand. I don't understand what's keeping you from telling me what you got to say, girl. So spit it out. Chelsea got some bass in her voice. You're keeping me from saying it. You won't let me get a word in. With her whisper in there. That whisper is always there in her throat. So Danny was like, girl, baby girl, if anyone has been extra in this room, honey, it is you. So you're acting like you're going to tell me that you're pregnant or something. Chelsea's like, I am not pregnant. Haley is. And you know Danny with them big ass eyes. She looked horrid. Anyway, we're back at the country club and we see Haley and Bill and Martin. So Haley tells Bill, "You're sweet, baby, but I really do need to check these voicemails. And the longer I put this off, the longer it'll be until you hear what Congressman Richardson has come to say to you." So she tips away. "Yeah, okay, yeah, baby." She leaves. And he's like, "This shit better be worth disrupting my fucking evening, nigga." Short and sweet. "I'm ready to go." Martin's like, "I'm ready to go. Not now. Don't clean off this table," because we had like a little waiter who came by. He was like, "Nah, not now. Private conversation." Like he's so mad that when he's speaking, Martin is so pissed. He's not right saying complete sentences. He's like, "Not now. Private conversation." Like, let that man do his job, boy. "You seem like you in a damn hurry for me to leave, Bill. So I'm gonna make it fucking short." Ooh, he said, "But I damn for sure won't make it sweet. Go ahead, Martin." Well, as Haley is in the lobby, checking her voicemails, we see, I didn't even recognize her at first because, I'm used to Naomi having more shorter, tighter curls, but she's coming in and her and Jacob are coming in the lobby area because they just finished playing some b-ball on the court, and she was like, "Oh, I thought I had you." He's like, "Man, I thought you was gonna let me beat you, but I have a rep to protect on the court now." So she was like, "Not anymore. Remember, I'm the crossover queen, baby. All right, next time you need to let me win, boo." He was like, "All right, really? Oh, this is what we doing?" She's like, "Yeah, you got to put some respect on this. Girl, you don't even sound black. Chill, lawyer Naomi. You don't even do that." He's like, "Oh, is that how you feel? Is that how you feel? All right, Jacob." So they see Haley checking her voicemails. And so Naomi comes over there and says, "Hello, Haley. Are you here with my dad?" And Haley's, "In fact, I am." Haley, "We're celebrating." And Naomi was like, "Good for you." So Naomi walks away and Haley is like, um, "Aren't you going to ask me why or what we're celebrating?" I don't know if it's damn me, but they seem to have a whole lot of commercials during this first segment. Let me push play and see what's going on. So we're back in the dining area where Bill and Martin are. So Bill was like, "Let me guess. It must be about the little chat that I'd had with your hubby, huh?" This motherfucker says, "What's the matter? Trouble in Pride Paradise?" So Martin is like dropping hints, telling him that we're on the same damn team, telling him that Martin will understand through his tight teeth. "Are you out of your damn mind, nigga?" Bill is like, "I'm a lot of fucking things, Martin. I'm shrewd, calculating, but most of all, I'm direct. I always say what I mean." Martin is like, "See, that's the problem. He's a reporter, Bill. It's in his DNA to ask questions." Bill, "But you handled it, didn't you? You handled it, right? Didn't you? I'm sure all that lying that you be doing gets easier by the day." Martin is like, "Do you have a death wish?" Ooh, Bill says, "Your ambitions are writing checks that your position can't cash." Boom, shakalaka. So you need to be careful with those impulses. They never end well. Martin is like, "I swear to God, if you try me again." And Bill stands up. "You're what, Congressman? Do you actually believe that you're in any position to lift a fucking finger against me, given what I know?" As he's towering over Martin. Bill is a big nigga. Bill, he's at least about 6'5", 6'6". Martin maybe 6'2", but Bill is not only tall, but he's thin. We are back at the lobby where Haley was asking Naomi, "Girl, you don't want to know why we're celebrating?" Naomi was like, "Trust me, I'm good. Whatever you are celebrating right now with my dad, you can keep that shit to yourself." Haley was like, "Come on, Naomi. We used to tell each other everything." Girl. Naomi was like, "Well, almost everything. You can tell me you was fucking my daddy and gonna marry my mammy. And besides, our friendship expired the day that you decided that my dad was a better catch than me, your best friend." Haley is like, "That's not fair. I tried to tell you several times that I miss our friendship." Naomi was like, "Well, that makes one of us, girl." Haley's like, Never mind. You still hate me. Duh. I don't even know why I bothered. Jacob intervenes and he says, come on, Haley. You didn't expect for y'all to still be close after everything that had happened, huh? Haley had a nerve to my, I don't know. I guess I thought that time heals all wounds. And we're more than friends now. We are family. Naomi was like, oh, girl, please don't remind me. Haley, well, there's still plenty that connects us. Ooh, she trying to rub it in. Who knows? There could be more in the future. Naomi says, I don't know if that's optimistic or delusional, but what I do know is sticking around to find out is a waste of my fucking time. And she tells Jacob, come on, baby. And they leave. So we get back to Danny and Chelsea. And so Danny's like, pregnant. What do you know? I guess you and Naomi are going to be big sisters. And Chelsea is like, yeah, well, that wasn't really exactly my point. So Danny was like, well, you thought that I was going to have a different reaction? I mean, turn into some big reality TV star and have some big ass meltdown? Dive into vodka like it's Sunday brunch? Chelsea says, well, Mama, if you remember, I did ask you to sit down. Danny is like, no. I'm sorry to disappoint, but I intend to take this news standing up. Wearing Louis Vuittons, no less. I mean, we can be reasonable, right? Chelsea was like, well, no shade, but I wasn't too reasonable when I got the news. And Danny's like, girl, that's no surprise. It's okay. I mean, Haley's young, presumably fertile, I guess. And Bill, honey, he might be too old to change diapers, but he certainly is rich enough to pay somebody who will do it for him. You better say that. He gonna be old enough to wear them himself, too. She's like, man, is that no sadder sight than an aging lawyer, his trophy wife, and a designer baby. It's like a midlife crisis bingo card. Chelsea, you know what, Chelsea, I'm going to choke you. Chelsea likes to bring the fire, but then she likes to deal with the truth. She's like, well, Mom, I mean, really, Dad is not really that old. So why the fuck did you come over there and tell her the news? You knew Danny was going to talk about how old he was. That's how she did with Kat yesterday. She did the same thing. Want to talk about her heartache and all this other shit. And then when Kat was like, yeah, I hate that bitch with Eva. Well, girl, she is your cousin. It's like, shut up, Chelsea. Just keep wearing that Wenham fans that shirt. Girl, I love you. You're cute. You're beautiful, girl. But you be doing just, girl. So Danny was like, you see his type around the country club all the time. And it takes everything in her body not to choke. Ugh. She said back to school night must be a riot because everybody around there with wheelchairs and canes. Well, the men are. The women around there with Louis Vuittons and Hermes. all those old men and trying to fold themselves in them tiny chairs without breaking their hip. I said about the wheelchairs before I press play. So me and Danny on the same page, girl. I got you, boo. I got you. And then she says, if they show up, okay? And Chelsea's like, oh, wow, Mom. You're really doing the most right now, Mama. Danny was like, you know what? It really makes me wonder how many of those babies were actually fathered by those guys. You got all these young girls out here with men old enough to be their pappies. I don't doubt that there's some hot little spicy piece on their own age warming them up in the bullpen. Chelsea's like, okay, Mom. I thought we were talking about Haley. Danny was like, maybe we are. She was like, did that thought ever cross your mind, Chels? That Bill's not the father? I mean, you just don't develop a taste for AARP overnight. Maybe she's got a side piece. And the moment she missed her period, that conniving little social climber saw an opportunity. Gold digging is as gold digging does, baby. So Chelsea was like, well, thank God we're both being reasonable because that could have really gotten messy, Mama. She's trying to be a smart ass. She knows that she said that earlier that Danny does nuclear bomb things. But when it comes to her girls, she's as soft as a pedal. But when it comes to Bill, she's nuclear, baby. She's a weapon of mass destruction. We are back at Orphe Jean. So she was like, that's the key to my apartment. We like, duh, yeah, we see that. He was like, yeah, that's your key. She was like, I mean, is it that serious? He was like, yeah. She was like, I mean, ain't we the still each other's emergency contact if anything happens. Girl, why is your mama not the emergency contact? Well, I don't know about his family, but Jan is around there. Jan got a key. I don't understand that. So she was like, she slides the key back. Oh, it makes my teeth itch. She slides it back to him and she said, the key is worth it. Girl, why is your boyfriend your emergency contact? Yeah, she should be his because they don't talk about his family. But why is he yours? That don't make any sense to me. So clearly he's living back with his roommate. So he said, well, I'm not going to try to give you a key to where I'm staying because it might be a hot mess. You might combust, honey. you might explode if you step up in there and see that hot mess of a place. So he mentioned something about her neat and tidy apartment again. She was like, okay, this is the second time you mentioned this tonight. Look, what's going on? What's the tea? Are you trying to tell me that I'm a neat freak? Go ahead and say it. He's like, I'm just kidding with you, but no, he literally has a problem with it. They're still not being honest. They're not being honest. He feels some type of way about her neat freak, type of personality. He feels some kind of way about that, and he ain't saying shit about it. So he's like, he keeps feeling like that he's gonna fall short. I think he's gonna be walking on eggshells all around her apartment now. He's like, look, you invite me back to your place, then it is what it is. It's always gonna be great. It always has been great. We'll go back to the way we were. But I think that whole living together situation really fucked him up in his psyche. When you do something and the person trusts you with the same thing again, then you don't want to do it. Or if you do it, you like super careful. You like real awkward about it. I think that's how he's gonna feel. He ain't gonna probably get it up. Remember one night he couldn't get it up? I got a feeling if they go home tonight, he ain't gonna be able to get it up. No. So he takes the key back. He's like, you know what? We'll just go to like we were before. Different addresses, same feelings. I'm cool with it. She was like, well, shouldn't we want more? Girl, you confusing me. The ring, the one address. I'm confused. Let me fast forward. So the 2.5 kids, I had to go up and use the bathroom because they was getting on my nerves. And he was like, Ashley, I want the same thing. And she was like, really? He's like, yeah, I told Jacob that. I told him everything. I want the same dream, same goals, same ambition as you. Maybe they just have to take it a little longer or take a different route. I don't know. Anyway, Jacob and Naomi shows up at Orphe Jeans. And so Derek was like, look who here. The main man with the plan. The man who told me that I need to take my lady more out on solo dates. And here he is. So Jacob was like, no, don't mind us, bro. Don't mind us. We can ready to bounce over to our own table, honey. Don't even worry about us. Keep on playing, player. Keep on doing your thing, player. Go ahead. Derek ain't no player, honey. But I know that Jacob was trying to talk hip. It's all right, Jacob. So they tell Naomi's like, oh, girl, we need to tell you something. We both made a decision. So Naomi was like, the verdict is that we love each other too much to live together. I can understand totally. Every relationship doesn't have to be cookie cutter. You make it work how you make it work, honey. No matter what society says, no matter what your family says, friends says, everybody says, you do you. You do exactly what works for your ass. Honey, Tide is back. Hey, Tide. He's in the laundry basket with Samantha. Tide be everywhere. Don't y'all love Tide? Tide is in there on my washing machine too. Yes, I be using Tide. They made me buy Tide. Y'all need to give me a brand deal, Tide. Now we back with, what's her name? Jessica and Tyrell talking about how they're opposite and, he ain't got no Riz. What's Riz? Rizz. Is that like swag or, man, you got money. That's all you need. Okay, he acting like his pappy. Tyrell is like dragging this girl, asking her, why are you here? Well, we totally different people. You used to date all the jocks and popular guys in school. Now you over here. Why are you doing this? Is this some type of prank? Are you trying to use me, fool me? What, am I some type of clown? Where's the cameras at? You finna go ahead and put me out online and try to say, oh, look at this fool. He liked me and I don't like him. I just feel like you doing that shit. Yeah, he kind of acting like his pappy. So Jessica is like, hey, letting him have it. She's like, my bad, you clowning. I'm getting ready to go. You wilding out. Look, my bad. I ain't mean to catch feeling for someone because I really thought that he was fucking different. And while she giving him the riot act, we see Smitty come in through the red door like, oops, what's the tea? So she calls him toxic, insecure trash. Okay, Jessica. She says, hi, Mr. Smith. Bye, Mr. Smith. I thought that Smitty's last name was Robinson. So she bounced and slammed the door, the red door, and so Smitty was like, son, what just happened?" So we see Danny. We back at her house, and so she going, "Where's Instagram? Where's Facebook? Where?" So Chelsea's like, "Mom, what are you doing?" So Danny was like, "Girl, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm searching for the announcement online." There is no way that Haley's going to keep this type of announcement to herself, girl. She's going to want the world to know that she's carrying the bag and the baby. And her surprise prize husband gave her a prize blessing to share with the world. So Chelsea was like, "Oh, here we go." And so Danny was like, "Hey, look, mark my words. Haley is going to make this a whole fucking production. She's probably already hired a TV crew to document her whole journey to motherhood." So Chelsea was like, "She just told Dad when I saw her, you're doing too much with this announcement stuff, Mom." Danny was like, "You don't know her like I do. She might have just told Bill, but she's planning a little surprise for Dave, making everything just so perfect for this big moment," which she did. She really did. You know, the dress. Well, they were on their way to a gala, but she did say she wanted to do this, wanted the announcement to be more perfect than what it was. So Danny was like, "Unless," and so Chelsea's like, "Unless what, word, Mama? Use your words." She's like, "Unless this entire thing is a fucking fake." So Chelsea's like, "Oh my God, Mom. Oh my God, Chelsea, I can't believe that I didn't think about this the second you told me," she says. "Little Miss Haley marries Mr. Moneybags, and a few months later, there's a trust fund baby on the way. How convenient." "Oh, goodness gracious me," sounded like Haley. "Oh, goodness gracious me. What do we hear? Honey, I have a little Bill inside of me." You know, we do that Bill voice, the Haley voice. I think I might actually throw up. Chelsea said the same thing yesterday. Uh-oh, we back in the dining room area with Bill and Martin are fussing. You can see the white waiter over there acting like he wiping the table, listening on. So Bill says, "Let me break this down to your ass. Every enemy that I have ever every enemy that I have ever had learned one truth. Every enemy that I ever had only had to learn one truth." I had to say that 10 times. "You step to the throne, nigga, you better come correct. There are no second chances in my world." So Martin is like, "Well, just explain to me the point of you dangling what happened in front of Smitty like that. Is that some way of you sending me some damn message? Trust me, I know what happens when certain stories start circulating." So Bill is like, "Please, I'm not going to waste my time with simple reminders. Look, let's just say you have your agenda and I have mine." Martin says, "Meaning you want something." Eventually, Bill says, "I mean, after all, I'm still looking out for your fucking family." He's like, "Oh, I mean, who knows? You just might need my particular services again." Martin's like, "Not a fucking chance." And Bill was like, "Oh, but there is still a debt to pay, Martin." He was like, "My favors ain't free, Martin." Vernon and Anita knew exactly the risk that I took in order for me to handle your damn situation. Now, I may have done some questionable things. And Martin said, "Questionable?" He said, "Hell yeah, compared to what the fuck you did." That's what Bill said. So Bill says, "Look, don't you ever forget who cleaned up your mess that night. I just didn't fix the situation, Martin. I fixed you." Ooh, what that mean? So back after the commercials, Bill says, "I think we're done here. I think we've both said everything that we needed to say." Ooh, Bill said, "You heard me. Down, boy." Martin just looking at him like he just nostrils just flare and her mouth getting all tight. You could tell he balling up that fucking fist. You can't see it on the screen, but you could tell that he's got that one foot standing right behind the other, ready to knock the. So Haley comes back in and he's like, "Ah, there's my queen. Hey, baby. Oh, come on, baby. Sit with me." And he looks at Martin, because Martin was just leaving. So she tells him, "Oh, Martin, you don't have to hurry off. Come on, stay and have a drink with us." And so Bill is like, "Nah, Martin already gave me his apologies. He has a previous engagement. He looking square at Martin. He was like, don't you? Then he tells Haley, oh, you know it's a shame that he can't stick around for your good news, baby. So Haley's like, oh, babe, are you going to tell the whole world in one night? Oh, my God. So he was like, yeah, why not? He's still looking at Martin. I mean, you did catch that. You did catch that earlier, right? Didn't you? About the blessing that we're expecting. Isn't that wonderful? Then Martin about to say something, and he turns around and he start applauding, baby. So you see this couple about to come in, and they say, okay, the congressman is cracking up. He clapping his hands, walking around the room. So Martin says, wonderful, wonderful. You truly are something else. You know that? He talks to the room. I give you all the crown prince of moral bankruptcy. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, gather around, take a look. He says, Haley, let me tell you something about your husband. Now that couple in the background, they can be like, y'all, I'm telling you, we gonna be on Beyond the Gates. Watch episode number 61. We ain't gonna say shit, but we gonna be looking surprised in the background. That's gonna be me one day. Remember, I still got goals, y'all. I still wants to be on the show. So I see my subscribers crawling up there. Whoever knows who, casting directors, producers, anybody, y'all tell them that Replay Aunty Shar is an actress and I wants to be on the show. I think they got that season 2. Y'all gonna be surprised. Y'all gonna see my ass in the background. I'm telling you. I'm gonna have me a talking spot. I'm gonna be Anita's niece. Something's gonna happen for me. But anyway, back to the show. Oh, he's out here making a confession. This is my confession. I might have done something one night. Terrible. Something that still haunts my ass. But this man, this parasite in a suit, ooh, used it as a business opportunity. Ooh, he tells him, Martin, mind your surroundings. Martin was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, now you're concerned. Oh, now you're circumspect. Why, Bill? Haley, I think your hubby is worried about his reputation. Terrified that people will finally see you as the vulture you fucking are. You see the ladies in the the foreground of the scene, like, what the fuck you talking about, girl? I don't know, girl, but keep listening, hush. Haley is like, what is he talking about? Bill is like, oh, don't worry about that. That's nothing, baby. It's just a distinguished congressman having one of his damn episodes. Just try to ignore him. And Martin was like, what you shouldn't be ignoring, Haley, the man you married, the father of your blessing, the great Bill Hamilton. Not only did he leave his long-suffering wife for a younger model, he insisted that she attend their wedding and then moved into the same neighborhood so he can flaunt his side piece in her fucking face on a daily basis. Bill is like, you need to shut your fucking mouth. He just goes on. Martin don't hear shit. He's like, this is a man who manipulates the law to his own end, who profits on other people's pain, and who will sell his soul just to get ahead. Bill is like, well, you know, it's unwise to criticize when one's own flaws are so transparent. You're living in a glass house, Congressman. Martin, beat that fucking table. Bill was like, you okay, honey? She's like, I think we should go. Yeah, you scared. When Martin hit that fucking table, like he was about to split that table like it was a Red Sea in the Bible, Bill got scared. He started pissing in his pants and watering it like it was the Red Sea. He said, answer him, Haley. Are you okay? You shy? Oh, it's okay. I got it from here. He says, no, I'll answer it. No, Bill. There's no way in hell that your wife is okay. He said, and Haley, sweetie, if I were you, I would run away far and as fast as I can, because that little child in you, before it's born and turns it into an arrogant bastard just like his pappy. That Bill got up and called him a son of a bitch. And you can hear her say, Bill, wait, stop. Girl. Oh, child, that was in his head. I thought that was real. We go back and he's like, oh, that was wonderful. That was wonderful, Haley. I'm very happy for y'all. Damn, I thought that was real. Beyond the gates, you did that shit. You did that shit. Wow. Whew. Oh, that's that dude, the waiter guy. That's that dude. From remember at Orphe Jeans when everybody was there fussing and he had the dark jacket on. He apparently he's been there the whole time. Not there, but just sprinkle. We see him. He's been working there at the damn country club in the background. This is my first time really seeing him again. So all of that fussing and screaming and shit was happening in his head and Martin's head. Martin is crazy. So she was like, babe, sometimes you scare me, darling. He's like, sometimes I scare myself. Well, anyway, getting back to the waiter, when Martin ran out, the waiter kind of followed him. He was writing down some shit on a pad and he ran out. So that's when Haley was like, sometimes you scare me. And he says, sometimes I scare myself. He says, he takes some water and says, to my exquisite wife and the precious gift she carries. So we're back to Danny looking through her little, her collection of liquor. So she was like, rum? I'm upset. I'm not tacky. Then she looks, oh, tequila. Yes, please. So Chelsea's like, Mom. She's like, what? It's not like I'm toasting the miracle of birth. And particularly, there's no miracle. And there certainly won't be no damn birth. And so Chelsea's like, Mom, you don't know that. She's like, well, by the time Big Bill figures that shit out, he'll have so much egg on his face that no boo will ask him to stop competing with their menu. What is Nobu? I guess Nobu is a Japanese restaurant. I know there's one in Atlanta, and they're in DC. So he will have so much egg on his face because they have egg soup and they use eggs. That Nobu will ask him to stop competing with their menu. So Chelsea's like, can we just rewind to where you was making some sense? And so Danny was like, do not tell me that you are buying this pregnancy story. Honey, I thought I taught you better. I thought I taught you to read people better than that. So Chelsea's like, what's the angle in Haley faking it? And so Danny was like, she's probably got practice faking a lot of things. So Danny is so convinced that she's really faking this pregnancy. And so she's like, well, Chelsea's like, how do you know? All she got to do is turn on the waterworks and make Bill believe that this girl is pregnant. That's all this is about. Going back and forth about it. Danny, once Chelsea came over there and struck that match, it's a whole forest fire. There's nothing you could do to bring Danny back. She's still triggered about that man. Why in the world would you come over there and tell your mama that, but you want her to calm down? Chelsea, I love you, girl, but you're not right. So Chelsea was like, so you think this is about sympathy? So Danny was like, why not? I mean, sympathy is currency here in Fairmont Crest, honey. All day long. And it's really good when everybody except for your clueless husband hates you. So Naomi was like, let me get this straight. So, y'all are all good now. He was like, well, yeah, it's not necessarily a hallmark moment, but she was like, you're just missing the point that we're not going to live together. So Naomi is just trying to be positive with Derek, Ashley, and Jacob. We're back at the Orphe Jeans spot. It's boring. I love them though. Don't get it twisted. I love them, but I'm like, but. So Naomi was like, honey, you should have been around when me and Jacob had to move in together. So he was like, whoa, wait a minute. We was together. We were smoother than silk sheets. We made it work. We were all right. So Naomi tapped him on the face like, oh, babe. He was like, so Derek was like, wow, sounds like y'all might not be on the same page. And so Jacob was like, we weren't. She's like, he said, babe, you told them that we were the blueprint. She said, girl, honey, they had just moved in together. I wasn't trying to tell them the true story. So she's like, look, let's just say that there were growing pains and one of us was more aware of it than the other. So Jacob was like, yeah, man, I thought I was perfect. And so Naomi was like, of course you did. So Jacob was the perfect GPS. And she's like, I had to be the one to compromise. And so Ashley's like, girl, don't let him play you like that. Girl, that didn't even sound natural. Who wrote that line for her? Take that back. That didn't even sound right. I guess because Jacob and Ashley are kind of sort of the same with being neat freaks. She's like, girl, don't play him like that. I'm gonna be riding with the Mr. Detective Clean here right here. So they gave each other the dap. This is Ashley and Jacob. So Derek was like, "Well, I'm with Naomi, the person who had to, the person who's speaking facts, who had to change their whole flow and try to compromise so they could live in peace." He puts his fists out to dab Naomi, and Naomi was like, "No," she left him hanging. So Naomi was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it." She was like, because she didn't really change that much. It was more living, but Naomi still pretty much had her way. So we're back to Smitty talking with Tyrell. He kicked out Jessica, who called him trash. So we get back to them at Orphe Jean's, the foursomes, and they're just talking about June. And Jacob was taking a phone call, and Kat had called him, said she was coming over there. So I guess she'll be over there tomorrow because they ain't show Kat the whole show. So, Naomi was telling Derek and Ashley that June had made up this whole story. It wound up being, the storylines from one of her favorite TV shows. Remember Anita, Miss Tooney, she actually starred on is it God like As the Word Turns? One of them, she actually starred on that soap opera years ago. So she acted like she was Jessica something, Jessica Hunter or Wright or something like that. Anyway, Derek was like, it's getting late. Speaking of late, I think ours is coming to a close. That means we're ready to go, right, baby? So Derek was like, we need to go. And so Jacob gives Naomi the keys. Like, yeah, you take the whip, baby. I need to stay here and talk to your cuz about some stuff. She's like, okay, I'll just see you when we get home. So Jacob apologized to Derek and Ashley about taking over their date night. He was the one who talked them into doing it, and they hijacked their date night. He was like, So, we ain't mean to do that. So Ashley was like, Derek always knows exactly how to make up for lost time. So ain't no worry about that. We'll be fine. So Ashley was like, yeah, I mean, the two of you working together looks really good, talking about Naomi and Jacob working together. And I was like, okay, it does look good. Anyway, we're back at the country club. And so Haley is telling or asking Bill, and she says, are you going to tell me what that mess with Martin was all about, babe? I mean, the man just can't let go of ancient history. And I mean, you remember when I helped Martin's daddy, don't you? He had the problematic girlfriend and the marriage he was so desperate to hold on to. Stop talking about Ted like that. So Haley was like, oh, her. The one I still don't know whether or not to call her Leslie or Dana. He was like, yeah, that one. He's like, well, that's old news, baby. Now, this baby that we made, now that is the future. And besides, we have more important things to discuss. She's like, look at you changing the subject. But you win. And we can always talk about names when we go home. He was like, well, there won't be much to talk about. I mean, the name Bill Jr. sounds like already like a front runner to me. She's like, you sound real sure that it's going to be a boy, unless you really think that I'm about to name our daughter after you, like Billonia. No, I'm just kidding. Like, well, hey now. Well, it did work for Billie Holiday. She's like, no. So they're back at Danny and Chelsea. And so she's like, Chelsea, don't be so naive. Faking a pregnancy is con artist 101, which is true. It happens in every story. They teach it in the gold digging school. That's what she says. Leslie, I think, is part of that school. She was probably the valedictorian, honey. Danny says right next to faking a tax bracket and finding a loophole in the prenup. So Chelsea was like, okay, can we please get back to something real for a minute? And Danny was like, well, I thought that's what we were doing, but fine. Speak your mind. So she says, like, okay, Mom, let's just pretend that Haley is pregnant. That Naomi and I have a little brother or sister that's about to drop in about 9 months. Are you going to be able to handle that, Mom? Danny says she don't think that she'll have to handle anything once this whole circus falls apart. Chelsea is like, be real with me, Mom. Do you actually think that Haley is really lying? Or is it that you just can't face the idea of Haley having a baby with Dad? We're back at the red door with Smitty and Martin. So he comes home, throw his keys on the desk, and so Smitty tells Martin, damn, that took a while. And so Martin apologized, and he was like, sorry, darling, my bad for ghosting you at Orphe Jean's like that. So Smitty was like, yeah, the floor vote, right? About the appropriations. I assumed it passed. Martin pulls out his phone, does some texting, and he was like, how are the kids? Like, Smitty just asked you a question. You didn't hear him? See, that's Martin just, oh my God. So Smitty says, oh, they're upstairs pretending they're doing their homework. There was some drama that went on between Tyrell and Jessica, but he hasn't gotten to the bottom of it yet. So Martin tells him, like, yeah, you're an investigative journalist. I'm sure you'll figure it out. And Smitty was like, careful what you ask for, Congressman. He's like, the vote. You remember the one that you had to rush out for? You know, the one that didn't happen? Martin was like, who said it didn't happen? Smitty was like, don't try me. The majority leader called for a recess to gather the votes. Ooh. He was like, oh, so you catch that rumor on some political podcast? He was like, or the push notifications that I receive on my phone before you even ran your ass out of Orphe jeans. So he's like, you're asking where I was at? Yes, he asked you what fuck you were. So Smitty was like, you think I couldn't figure that shit out? If you wanted to check Bill for coming at me, then why the hell you just didn't say so? It makes me wonder, how did he find that out? You think that white dude is working with him? I wonder if that his brother or something like that, like a family member. Because how did Smitty find that out so quickly? And they have this real quick scene between Samantha and Tyrell. She was like, chess. He was like, yeah, that's the only thing that keeps me calm and sane. She's like, it's so boring. He was like, look, just leave me the fuck alone. Pretty much. You know how brothers and sisters are. And she's like, I love you. He's like, I love you back. I mean, it was just a here and there. It's like he feels like chess is how he feels to escape what he's feeling, and it's boring, but it's what he needs. So she was like, you need to have more confidence in who you are. He said, well, you do too, bitch. She's like, idiot. You know how brothers and sisters are. So Martin was like, why don't you say it a little louder, huh? I'm sure Samantha and Tyrell would love to hear their pops being called a fucking liar. So Smitty's like, are you really going to pretend with me that you didn't go and hunt down Bill Hamilton? He was like, no, that's exactly what I did. As soon as I heard about his little power play, I couldn't help myself. And he was like, how the hell did you find out? And Smitty was like, dial it back, babe, okay? I don't have eyes on you, okay? And Bill did not pick up the phone to fill me in. So Martin was like, how? And then Smitty was like, because I know you. I know how your damn mind works. I mean, at Orphe Jeans, you was so damn annoyed that Bill approached me to maybe get in line to be one of his handy on-call reporters. That was a slick fucking argument, by the way. But that's what Bill does. That's what he does. But Smitty was like, man, but that isn't what made you so angry and so pissed off. What pissed you off because of my curiosity. That's what made you mad. That Bill gave me just enough information to the point where I got curious and start asking questions. Then I had to come and ask you again. But usually when I be asking you about some shit, you kind of ignored it. You evade it. You don't want to answer it. But this time when I asked you some questions, baby, you got angry. You had to go and confront his ass. He's like, that's a whole lot of trouble to go through. When you could just really just be honest and tell your husband the truth. And then Martin with his lying ass, but I did tell you the truth, baby. Bill was playing a game where he used you to push my buttons, and he succeeded. So Smitty is like, well, what's in it for him? Martin says the satisfaction of me looking like a fool in public. That's his satisfaction. So Smitty was like, what the fuck did you do, Martin? Martin was like, look, I wanted to get at him. I wanted to tell him about himself, and I wanted to wrap my big hands around his neck but I didn't. I got control, honey. I did. So Smitty was like, well, where was he? At the club, smug as ever. And I told him if he wanted to play Washington, D.C. games with me, then fine. This city runs on favors and backroom deals. Everybody knows that. But to use my husband as leverage, Smitty was like, you'd what? Bill has my number, Martin says. If he wants something, he can man up and come to me directly. But to use you to manipulate you, that's unacceptable. So Smitty was like, and you were calm and collected when you told him all this shit? So Martin was like, nah, I wanted to get at his ass. But I didn't go there. But he did get the message. Now, trust me, babe, he will not make that mistake again. And that's all that happened, Smitty asks him. And he says, short and motherfucking sweet. But Bill was distracted by bigger news. So Smitty was like what? And he said, Haley's pregnant. So Smitty was like, are you serious? And so Mark was like, yeah, I know. He said, I don't want to be nowhere near Aunt Danny when that bomb drops. Okay, we're back at the house with Bill and Haley. So he's like, baby, I've been waiting to get back you here, back at this house ever since you gave me that announcement. She's like, well, get me back here for what? So he was like, well, let me get out of this monkey suit right now so we can properly properly celebrate, because the mother of my child deserves a little special attention tonight. And she says, oh, and don't keep me waiting too late, Big Daddy. so so Haley's sitting on the couch, and that damn Danny comes in the house, and Haley is like, what the? And so Danny walks in and says, Bill is terrible about changing codes. I don't think he changes those codes because I think he likes when Danny makes surprise appearances over there, because this is the second time this bitch has walked into their house and she knows the codes. So she goes and asks Haley, how's the happy mother to be? So Danny's like, happy? So Haley's like, I assume that Chelsea couldn't wait to spill the tea. And you made a special trip this late just to congratulate us? Then Danny is like, oh, Haley, I came to do way more than that, bitch. And that is the conclusion of today's episode. I really like that pinnacle part with Martin and Bill. I wish that was real, but of course it wasn't. All of that played, and because Martin was reading Bill in that scene, honey. He had it all played out, and so that was good to me. Oh, what a good episode. No Vernon, no Anita, no Ted, no Nicole. It was a good balance of stories today. So hopefully you enjoyed my recap and the voices and the fun and everything else. Some of the stories I had to condense down because, again, it wasn't really about nothing with this Samantha and the Tyrell and the Ashley, Derek, and Naomi and Jacob. It wasn't really a lot that I needed to go word for word. Some of it was worth it, but some of it was like, so anyway, thank you so much for coming to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Your recap, Aunty. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.